All right, we have a Saturday edition of Open Season. Got Billy Allen, Justin Elaine, Mel Kiper Justin with his beard over there in disguise. So let's talk about. We're obviously going to talk about the NFL draft. Let's probably start with the first round before we get into the Pats picks. Of course, they traded out. My God, why do they always have to trade out year after year? It's just so unexciting. But I guess no surprise at all with the first three picks overall. Maybe the first pick surprises started coming around Miami or the Chargers. What was probably the biggest surprise that you saw in the first 10 picks?
Honestly, I feel like the draft overall, the first round went as everyone thought it would. Like players going to teams. Um, there was a lot of talk about Tua not going to Miami, but that obviously happened. And I really wish that he didn't go to Miami. That would have been nice. Um, I personally feel like Justin Herbert's going to be a bust, but everyone said he was going to, both quarterbacks, one was going to go to the Dolphins, one was going to go to the Chargers.
And Herbert's the one who threw 20 touchdowns and 17 picks, right?
Yeah.
So he's the one who everybody thinks like he potentially has the Mahomes in him, but he could also be a big bust.
That's Jordan Love. I guess that was the big surprise the first round. Yeah. The Packers.
Yeah. No, I was completely surprised about that. And they're absolutely putting Aaron Rodgers on notice. He was on, I forget whose podcast the other day, Dan Patrick's, and they were asking him like who they should take. And he's like, oh, we haven't taken a skill player in 15 years. We could shore up the defense. They're a team who was at the NFC Championship last year, and they're taking a replacement for Aaron Rodgers, probably not what he wanted to see. And man, is that going to be funny because he's not going to want to be a role model, or he's not going to want to help Jordan Love at all. He's one of those guys who is definitely not going to help with that process.
The one thing is that, they've never drafted a receiver or running back in the first round. But look at the receivers they've drafted in the second round since he's been there. We're talking about Devontae Adams, Greg Jennings, who's the white guy?
Jordy Nelson.
Those were all second-round picks.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what round you draft them in as long as they're good players. And last year, Rodgers honestly didn't have that good of a year.
He didn't.
He looked pretty like he took it. It looks like he's on the outs of his career. And would I have traded for Jordan Love? Probably not. I don't think he's going to be that great, but that's a clear indication that they're looking at the future and they don't want to be in a position that like we're in right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you knew that they were going to want some type of plan moving forward, but that just to pull it this early, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 36. You kind of figured this ownership group, they bring in a new coach, they have new management. They're probably going to ride it out for a little bit, but they're obviously not if they're willing to spend a first round pick. And it seems like they might be moving on from Aaron Rodgers sooner than later.
So what's funny is that the Packers are the only team in the league that doesn't have an owner. They're owned by the fans, which is like the craziest thing in the world. So there's never been like owner interruption like there was with Kraft and Brady and Garoppolo. And McCarthy and Rodgers hate each other. Like no one ever stepped in and did anything about it. And I don't think Rodgers really liked the new coach, but they won games last year because I think a lot of the offense was based on running the ball, not passing it as much. But he's not the same Aaron Rodgers from a couple years ago.
Yeah, Aaron Jones had a great year, and they're starting to lean on their running game a little bit more.
But for him to say, like, I need more talent, it's like, this is what I hate about other teams and, like, players. Like, I need more talent. It's like, have you looked at what Brady's had, like, a lot of his career? Like, give me a freaking break. Like, us getting an elite talent didn't happen until we got Randy Moss, and that was, like, 7-8 years into his –
I know, and you never heard a peep from him. Exactly. And Aaron Rodgers is just this guy who sits there. He's got a puss on his face. He's like, it seems like he's forgotten a lot of his mechanics as he's gotten older. Like he just runs around in the pocket, kind of throws like off his back foot. Like he's just trying to make the home run play way too much and run around. And
they were in the NFC Championship game last year, not because of him, because of their defense. And like
yep,
Brady doesn't care. Like the last Super Bowl we won, Brady wasn't that great. Like leading into that, or like even in the postseason, the Chiefs game he was, but the defense is what really got us there in the running game. As long as you win the championship, why does it matter? I don't really care. And he's also getting paid like $40 million for the next 4 years. So it's not like he's going to go anywhere.
yeah. I know. I just can't believe that they pulled. If anybody was going to pull like a quarterback out, I did not think it was going to be the Green Bay Packers. They were one team that nobody had circled. How about that kid that the Jets took?
The lineman.
The lineman that they first show him on cam, then they show his father. And they're like saying that he's 380 pounds. His father looked like he was like double the size. It's like his father's got to be 480 pounds.
No.
You saw what genes are. When you look at them, it's like he was just born to be enormous. And watching him run that 40, I don't think I've seen something more impressive than that. I mean, the guy looks like the size of a car, and he's running at the same speed, running faster than Tom Brady did.
What's funny is that the Giants took the first lineman, Andrew Thomas. And a lot of people doing mock drafts had him as like the third or fourth lineman.
Yep.
And the best lineman, I think,
was supposed to be Derek. Oh.
I think it was the guy the Bucks got, Tristan Wirfs, the kid from Iowa.
Yeah.
He went as the fourth one. Like they're all good, but I just.
Yeah, I saw some people said that there wasn't a whole lot that separated the top 4 tackles.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
but
you're gonna get a hit no matter what. But then the Raiders took Henry Ruggs. Ruggs isn't even the third. He's the third best receiver. Like the best receiver is Judy from Alabama, and then it's the kid from Oklahoma.
Isn't it amazing how Al Davis is gone, but they're still drafting just like it right there? They take the fastest receiver instead of taking the best one.
Not only
they're just like, who's the burner?
They draft a cornerback 19th that no one had going in like the second round.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a need for a cornerback and like he's not, like you can get that same person, trade down. Like, why take that player or trade for another position? You're the Raiders. You have lots of holes to fill.
I think it's funny that they call it edge now. They don't call these guys like DEs or linebackers like anymore. I mean, they call some guys linebackers, but like anybody that rushes, it's just like edge.
But I must say,
the Pats needed some help on the edge, and they didn't get it.
The Cowboys' offense next year is going to be amazing.
Oh, because they took another wideout. They got the wideout from Clemson, right?
No, from Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma.
Yeah. So they have an amazing line, great running back.
They didn't even need a wide receiver. He just fell to them.
Exactly.
I know. That's a team that's got, so they've got Cooper. Who's the guy that they have who came from the Packers? That smaller.
Cobb. I don't think he's there anymore.
Oh, okay.
This guy's going to take over the slot.
Yeah. But then they also have that younger kid, Michael, whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, my God.
Exactly.
That is going to be a hell of a passing game. Plus, you have Zeke.
Dak Prescott's the one that has to throw the ball, so.
Yeah, he's still sitting out there without a contract, right?
There's a reason for it. Comes into big games, he never really performs.
Because he wants $40 million, and that's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
Were you surprised that the Patriots didn't take Kenneth Murray? I mean, the Chargers get Kenneth Murray right at the 23 spot, right where we could have got him. How much does that hurt?
I almost threw the remote out the television, like the television out the window. Not even just him. He was there.
The other pass rusher was there.
Yeah, the guy Queen from LSU, the linebacker, was there. He went to the Ravens. Like that team's going to be unbelievable. And it's just why, like, what don't you see in Kenneth Murray that everyone else in the world does?
I know. The Chargers were willing to give up a ton for him. What did they end up giving for him? They gave up a treasure trove to get up there and get him.
Not really. They gave us their second and third pick.
It's pretty decent to give up to get him.
No, I know. It's just I don't think they were. I think they were going to take that safety at 23, no matter what.
Really?
Like Adam Schefter said, the player they wanted would be there at 37.
Well, it seems like the safety that they got. I mean, I can throw a lot of names at you that, and let's start in 2008. Terrence Wheatley, 2009, Darius Butler, 2011, Razai Dowling, 2012, Tavon Wilson, 2015, Jordan Richards, 2016, Cyrus Jones, 2018, Duke Dawson. Long way of saying there's been a lot of number twos that haven't hit. Do you think this is going to be a number 2 DB that does hit? You're bullish on him?
I don't. He's got some sweet highlight reels against some white Division II players.
Yeah.
I mean, he
seemed to have gotten a pretty good draft grade.
He's gonna be our punt returner, absolutely. Like
he's gonna be a punt returner, and he's also gonna be Patrick Chung 2.0. It seems like everyone
more athletic than Patrick Chung.
Yeah, a better athlete than Pat Chung.
I mean, if you look at the overall what Pats did in the draft, they drafted for not like immediate need, but for depth at positions of like older players, like the safeties. McCourty, Chung are both old. Like linebacker, Hightower's old. Offensive line, they drafted a bunch. They're all like, Cannon is probably 30 something. Shaq Mason's getting up there in age, and they're also getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, it's just there's just so like they have so many draft picks, right? Why couldn't you trade up to get like a receiver, or like why couldn't you have drafted that tight end from Notre Dame at 37 and then trade back into the draft to get that safety if you liked him so much? Because no one else was drafting him there.
They always do stuff like that. It's like they pretend like these guys that they have marked down in the second and third rounds are going to go that high. It was like, it kind of reminded me of the year that they took Devin McCourty, and we were all like flipping the pages to see Devin McCourty.
Every year in the second round, that like Jordan Richards, like people are like, I had him as a 5th round pick, and he went in the 2nd round. Then that guy we drafted last year, Williams out of Vanderbilt, that they didn't play, they're like, I had him as a 3rd or 4th round guy. It's like, it's okay to get players that are like secret or hidden gems, but draft them when they're supposed to be drafted. Don't draft them earlier, and then they don't turn into anything.
It sounds like this guy Duggar does have decent size, though. They say he's about 6'1", 217, a box safety linebacker type. Who's basically going to be like Chung, but could be able to come into some packages when they go against teams like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and the Pats are going to be in different sub packages.
Yeah,
he may be a guy that could actually get some time and returning kicks. He's probably going to be a guy that'll see some time there too.
If you look at his combine stats, they were off the charts. Like the jump, whatever the hell that thing is.
Yeah, he ran like a 4.4.
Second highest jump thing. Yeah, he ran a 4.4. And then like the thing where you jump to, I don't know what it's called, but he finished like second amongst all like secondary people. So I think that like put everyone's eye on him. And then like in the
Senior Bowl.
Yeah, in the senior game, he had like the most tackles out of like anyone.
Yeah. There was a guy that got taken right after him, Yetur Gross-Matos. I mean, that guy seemed like he would have been a great fit for the Pats coming off the edge.
I just wonder, because I think the Giants took the safety from Alabama, who was the first safety taken. And I wonder if he was there at 37, we would have taken him.
Yeah. It seemed like the Pats – it seemed like, though, I did hear Chris Gasper saying that, like, there were other teams that had Duggar marked as the second best safety in the draft. So,
I mean, he's an athletic freak. There's a lot of potential there. I mean, he put on 50 pounds at college time he graduated. I think that's why he didn't get scouted by anybody. But like, why was he there for 6 years?
I know. Is he a doctor?
Yeah, it's not like you're going to like an elite college to get a great education. You've never even heard of the college before.
Yeah, apparently he was hurt one year, but I don't know. Must not be the smartest of the bunch. I know he's 24 as a rookie. That doesn't 24 going on 25 as a rookie. That's a pretty old rookie.
Yeah. But yeah, no, back to the Packers stuff. So not only did they take Aaron Rodgers, they took a running back from Boston College with their second pick.
Oh yeah, they took that guy.
AJ Dillon.
Yep.
That guy, they have run that guy into the ground at Boston College. Like, he is not going to be very healthy in his career. Why would you draft a running back with your second pick if you have Aaron Jones? And Jamal Williams isn't a bad backup.
That is so true. Aaron Jones seems like a guy. I mean, didn't he have like a ton of? He gets a ton of touchdowns now.
The most touchdowns in the league.
Yeah, and I think over the last two, I think he's like close to leading for that too. I was surprised that the tight end from Notre Dame went so late, 43.
What also was surprising, the Bears took him. They have 10 tight ends on their roster.
I know.
10.
They actually have 10?
10, including Jimmy Graham. Yes, 10.
Wow.
Like,
That's
guys you've never heard of before, but they have 10 tight ends. That's just a franchise that has no idea what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you can see that the Pats aren't the worst with some of these draft things. I don't put them.
I watched the whole thing, and every time they get up, everyone be like, so is this when they're going to take a quarterback? Is this when it's going to be? It's like, they told you before the draft that they like Stidham. They weren't lying. They like Stidham. They said they're going to add a third quarterback, and that probably means it's going to be a veteran guy. Who knows? But I honestly feel like they really do like Stidham.
Yeah, I mean, I think they clearly showed us through the draft. I thought we were going to find out one way or another through the draft how much they like Stidham. If they take somebody in the first round, obviously they're still deciding on Stidham, but the fact that they didn't take anybody else means that, they're prepared to go into the year with him as the number one, because they're not going to start Brian Hoyer. I'm a firm believer that they're not going to start him. He knows the offense, and he's going to be good at preparing him.
So does Stidham. He was in it the whole year last year.
I'm just saying, I don't think Brian Hoyer has a chance to start. This is his third time around on this team.
Everyone seems to forget that Stidham beat out Hoyer for the backup job last year.
Yeah.
So how is he going to beat him for the starting job this year?
Yeah, I don't think there's really any chance. That's kind of what I'm saying, is that I think that Stidham is going to be. But do you think there's any chance that, let's throw the ring of crappy quarterbacks by you one more time, you think there's any chance they pick up Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, any of those guys? Or is that completely done? And where do you think Cam's going?
I don't know. I came up with this theory today that I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be back. Because the Colts are going to try to trade him. No one's going to want Jacoby Brissett. They're going to cut him, and they'll offer him a chance to win a starting job. And he knows the offense. And he's not a diva. He's not Jameis or Cam. I mean, Andy Dalton, potentially, but I don't know. Why haven't the Bengals released him yet? Are they going to, try to have him and Joe Burrows? Joe Burrows is the starter.
They're going to get rid of him at some point, because Joe Burrow is clearly going to be the starter.
Cam Newton, he's going to have to take a year contract somewhere.
You know what? I kind of convinced myself on today with Cam Newton. I was thinking could be a good place for him would be Washington, because they have the Ron Rivera connection, and they're not going to start Dwayne Haskins. He's not ready to go yet.
No, I agree. I agree 100% with you. I think I've said it all along, Cam. I think the best place is Washington. Dwayne Haskins is a joke.
I know.
I mean, maybe
they could already be drafting for a quarterback next year or something.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Dwayne Haskins was a. Yeah, go ahead.
Tent with Gardner, what's his name? Minshew.
Oh, Gardner Minshew. Apparently, they're content with it. He's a 6th rounder.
Yeah, exactly.
What? And he's 6'2". He doesn't have good size.
So that's another team.
And he didn't blow anyone away last year. He's a 2-touchdown, 1 interception guy. I don't know. I was never blown away by him. Did he come in and win some games? Sure, but
I just think it's crazy that Nick Foles got traded to go to the Bears, but like Cam and Jameis are free agents. Like we're talking
Who's
about
paying for that contract? Are the Bears paying for that, or are the?
I'm pretty sure a lot of it was paid up front last year, Jacksonville.
Yeah, because
Like
that's an awful contract.
and they already Bears said today they're not going to get what's his name Trubisky's extension.
Oh God. But they're good enough to start him, though. They say.
I think Nick Foles is going to be the starter.
Oh, I thought they named Trubisky the starter like a while ago.
I think they're saying that's an open competition.
Oh boy, Nick Foles sucks. You just know it's only a matter of time till he's a backup again.
Have you seen Trubisky play?
I have.
It's pathetic. Like
God, that was one of the worst picks too. Them trading up. That's another example of how bad Chicago is, where they trade up to get Trubisky and jump over Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. There's so many teams that are so incompetent. It's amazing.
That's the thing. Like I don't know. It's hard to say because we've had one quarterback for 20 years, but because they've drafted some backups that have sucked. Like that guy had a God, who's the tall guy that we drafted? Like
Ryan Mallett.
Mallett, he sucked. I mean, Jacoby Brissett turned into a decent player.
Yeah, like way better than I would have thought he would have been.
Garoppolo. I don't know. I mean,
Matt Castle.
If Stidham was in this year's draft, he would have been like the 5th best quarterback, or even 4th. I mean, behind Jordan.
I'll take that.
So we'll see. I mean, it's not like it's out of the ordinary for a 4th round draft pick to be a good quarterback in the NFL. Like, didn't Dak Prescott get drafted in the 4th round?
I think he might have been 3rd or 4th. Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely not. There's plenty of guys that you can find down there in the lower rounds and end up, especially he's got a year in the offense. So, you figure that makes him more like a 2nd round pick, like value wise.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was kind of overall, like, I'm not overly joyed or overly upset with the draft for the Pats. It was
just
it was better than I would have thought, just because the past couple have been so bad.
Yeah.
Just drafting positions that are so unnecessary. Like I really feel like them drafting 2 tight ends was the best thing they did in the whole draft. Because that tight end position last year was so bad. And
they didn't have any tight ends remaining from that team, right? They don't still have what was his name?
Izzo, Lacoste. Those are our 2 tight ends. So
they still have those 2 guys, right? So those guys are going to end up getting cut.
Yeah. So now we have. I mean, the Pats' offense has been based off 2 tight ends the entire time, like ever since 2001. So
yeah.
And like they'll have like 3 instead of doing these 5 wide receiver sets, make it a more basic offense for Stidham. Have a couple more tight ends out there, and just do like 2 receivers.
What did you think of like how out of breath like Roger Goodell seemed to be? Like he seemed to be like so exhausted by like some of those picks. He's like, "Come on, boo me."
Did you see him when he was like laying on the seat, sitting on the seat?
Yeah.
It looked like he was like taking edibles, and he was just like out of it. He's like, pick 100.
God, the internet had such a fun time when Belichick's dog sat in the chair. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is the master GM." Like,
that's just Belichick saying "F you" to the rest of the league. Like, I don't care about your videos.
He's got his dog making pics while they're showing videos.
The Arizona Cardinals coach, what's his name? Kingsbury. He's got this mansion, like overlooking like this really sick pad. Then you have Belichick on this like 1980 kitchen table. like 3 laptops, and he's got his dog in the freaking chair. And he makes
God, you got to imagine Belichick has so much money in the bank, like with how cheap that guy lives, probably.
The guy probably drives like a freaking Chevy from like 1999. Like he doesn't care about like the small things. He just like puts it away.
All he cares about is that boat, 6 rings.
Linda Holiday's shopping.
Yeah, I bet that eats a fair amount out of that.
Yeah, and the dog, it's so funny when you watch him. Like there's videos of him and that dog. Like he loves that dog.
I know he like gave it a treat like on camera, and everyone was like going nuts.
I saw today online, like they interviewed him with the dog, like in Nantucket last summer. Dogs are male's best companion, and they're talking about like, what the dog should be named. And the mom or Linda Holiday said some like crazy name, and he's like, "No," and I wanted Jack, and she said, "Yeah, that's not going to work." And then she said, one of our friends said, "Let's call him Nike," and Bill says, "He's a Jack," but we went another direction.
Oh God.
Even Belichick can be told what to do.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, so I thought there were a couple teams that did really well. I thought the Dolphins crushed it. I thought the Saints only had 3 picks and they did really well. 49ers obviously got Trent Williams like for a 5th round pick. Like what the hell is that? Like
I know, like all year they like wouldn't trade him for like I feel like even like a first or something, and then so, like that just shows how bad they are. Like they finally trade him for like a 4th.
He wanted to get released so he could go to the 49ers. Because
Oh, the whole time.
Shanahan coached him at the Redskins. But like this is what I'm saying, dude. There's not a chance in hell that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get past the 49ers.
Yeah.
They drafted the best defensive tackle, 13th, to put on that defensive line with Bosa and whoever the other guy is. Brady's not going to be able to like get the ball out.
See, yeah. Nick Bosa is like already going to be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like this year. I mean, he's so good.
Exactly.
Plus, you add all those other guys. But Matt Breida, though, no more Matt Breida. Dolphins stacking up with Matt Breida.
Yeah, the Dolphins. We'll see. We'll see how far Tua goes. I don't hope that, but I do think he's going to be injury prone. He is small and he has to adjust his game to not be able to run around.
Yeah, I think he's too small also. And I think he's already so broken. He's broken his ankles twice already. Like when you have injuries going into the NFL, look at guys who have injuries going into the NFL. I mean, Frank Gore's the only guy I can think of that was like busted up in college, but wasn't in the NFL.
I mean, like what's his name? Breeze is small, but he's not a runner. He just throws the ball.
Like, yeah, he's not taking licks.
Baker Mayfield's not getting hurt. He doesn't run. Tua just runs around. He's going to get hurt.
God, he does have a big time arm though, especially for a lefty. It looks good.
It does.
But he's probably not. I mean, the last left-handed quarterback to make it work, though, like him, was like Steve Young, and I just don't know if he's that type.
I just wish that we had held on to that defensive coordinator who's now the Dolphins coach to be our coach someday.
Oh, Flores?
Like, everyone loves him there, and he's doing a good job.
Oh, I know.
Like
they're crushing the draft. They finished the year on 5-11. What were they, 4-1 down the stretch or something?
They just got Breida.
Things look bright in Miami.
They also drafted. They had 3 first-round picks. Trying to find it. So they drafted. Then they drafted a tackle with the 18th pick, guy out of USC, and then they drafted a cornerback out of Auburn, the 30th pick. And they also signed Byron Jones from the Cowboys. And they signed Van Noy.
Oh, yeah.
Byron Jones is good. And then they just traded for Breida.
I know. It's too bad they let who's that safety that they had? Minkah Fitzpatrick. Too bad they traded him.
He didn't want to play there. He didn't want to work hard. Funny when
good for him. He should go down to Tampa. God, you don't even have to walk into the right house. Brady walking into, thinking that he's walking into whoever's house, the offensive coordinator, and walks into some other. They said like the NFL is like concerned about this and they're gonna like dole out some punishment.
Well, you're not supposed to be meeting with other personnel.
Yeah.
What I thought was crazy was that in all the videos,
Brady's so obsessed he's even going around the social distancing rules.
you look at all the videos of like when they look at the players and they get drafted. You know how many times you saw agents in these people's homes?
Yeah.
It's not like I knew who the agent was, but there'd be like 6 African Americans and one white guy, and the white guy
with glasses in the corner.
I saw Drew Rosenhaus in some guy's house. I'm like, how is this? Like, we're talking about social distancing. These guys just walking into their homes.
See, I knew that was going to be a bad display for the NFL because they weren't going to want people to see that. But how can you not have people hugging and embracing? Like, I knew you were going to see on couches and stuff like that. Everyone's close.
Do you follow Bob?
It was weird. It was weird to even see people like that because we haven't been that close to people. It's like, oh my God, there's people congregated together. Like,
do you follow Bob Memory on Instagram?
I think a little bit.
So he's like does like those funny sport videos where he has like a voice and he like pretends he's like a sport broadcaster and he makes fun of like a sporting like play that happened. And he was like doing all those videos during the draft, like he was like hammered watching the draft and he's laughing at Goodell talking to the monitor, being like, "Come on, stand up. Is this all you got? Boo me." And he's like,
oh yeah,
other people, and then he'd like zoom in some hot girl, and be like, "Oh, how you doing, honey?" Like, it was just so
I know.
corny. The whole thing was so freaking corny. It's like, then they get the Pats one. And he's like, "That's the best you can get." It's like,
I know.
For what it was, though, I thought that the draft overall, like for a virtual draft, it went much better than everyone thought it would go.
Same. After I saw the horse tournament, I was like, this thing is going to be a complete S show, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
They actually did a pretty good job, and the broadcast actually wasn't that bad either. Like having all those guys up there and having it not like go in and out, it was better than any Zoom meeting I've been a part of.
And like it was cool to see like the coaches, houses and stuff. Like I thought the whole thing with having their kids there and everything was really corny, but
yeah, they act like they're so happy with their family. Like there was one GM, like the Lions guy was like his girl was like doing like peace or something. He's just like,
yeah, it's like, yeah,
this is the first time they've like hung out with their family and like,
Dad, I haven't seen him in 3 months.
Get away! I'm making a pick.
Don't talk to me till the pick's over.
Daddy loves you.
Yeah, exactly. Like. And then you go to Cliff Kingsbury. He's just like in his mansion by himself.
Yeah,
waiting for his super model girlfriend to come out from the bedroom.
Not a bad life that he's got.
That guy and Sean McVay live pretty nice lives.
Yeah, I mean that guy was an offensive coordinator at a college, like not even like a year ago, right?
He was a backup quarterback for the Pats in like 2004.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Now look at him. He's dating like an Instagram model.
Well, when they pay you like that, when they give you that much before you've ever even been in the NFL, I mean, that guy got such a golden contract. That guy is so lucky that he like hung out with Kyler Murray his whole life. Like that completely got him a job in the NFL, like having that connection to Kyler Murray. Now it's not about like who's the best defensively. It's like these guys have to have a relationship with the quarterback. Like,
I know, it's crazy. Freaking another team that did really well was the Broncos. They got Jerry Jeudy, so now they have Courtland Sutton and him. They got
Courtland Sutton, my boy.
They drafted Noah Fant last year. Then they drafted like another receiver and then another tight end. They signed Melvin Gordon this year, like as like their second running back. Like Drew Lock is like he doesn't even have to. You can put Matt Castle as a quarterback in that offense.
Yeah, he's got enough weapons.
Exactly. Like,
who's their first running back? Philip Lindsay?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Having Gordon as a backup is a pretty solid option.
Where the hell did Drew Lock? Was he like a second-round pick last year? Third-round pick?
I think so. I mean, and I'd probably rather have Stidham over Locke at this point.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we've actually seen Locke do it, so it's a difference. Locke actually
Yeah.
played well when he went in there. But to think, remember when they traded for Joe Flacco last year?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Is Joe Flacco? Where is he? Is he retired?
I think he's retired. Yeah.
He's elite.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Cash in
He's
while
great.
you're hot.
See, that contract killed them, right? When they had to pay him, they were paying all those guys on defense, and then they had to pay his ass. He sucks.
Oh my god.
Joe Flacco. He was like half of Eli. He got hot for one postseason
He
instead of
always
two.
tore up the Pats though. Always crush the Pats.
Oh, I know.
We'd like let him pass all over us. Him and freaking who was
Mark
the
Sanchez.
Jaguars- No, who was the Jaguars quarterback a couple years ago?
Oh, Bortles.
Light us up. And
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
why can you shut down Aaron Rodgers, but you can't shut down Blake Bortles?
I hate the bend but don't break defense. It's always like you're just on nails the whole time watching it.
That's what the defense one was when Patricia was here. Patricia is honestly the worst defensive coordinator in the league. I don't know how the hell he's still a coach. Like as soon as he left, all of a sudden we start blitzing again. It's like
Yeah, I love blitzing a lot more than the bend but don't break. That is hard to watch.
We're gonna let
You're
them
like,
throw
we're going to
seven-
give up 400 passing yards to Mark Sanchez, but we'll
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, exactly. We'll hold him to a field goal. How about you don't let him get over the 50? That'd be nice.
Yeah. Hopefully that ball hawking, hopefully that this safety from wherever he's from, Lenore, whatever, sounds like a old country singer's name or something.
That sounds like a school out of France.
Lenore. But yeah,
the AFC East is going to be challenging this year.
I know. Finally,
I think the Bills got a lot better. They got that Espinoza guy you were talking about. They got a good running back to complement Singletary. They obviously got Diggs. That defense is already like stacked.
I know. It's too bad that they don't have a quarterback. They took Josh Allen so early that they can't like take another quarterback that early. And he can't pull the string. He's not going to be able to throw the ball accurately enough. That's going to suck for who's the guy? Oh, they got Diggs. That's going to suck for him because he's like the most precise route runner in the league. And he's just going to have this guy lobbing balls to him like way off.
Like if it's a deep ball, he'll hit him. But if it's like anything 20 yards or under, like an in or out, it's going way over his head.
Yeah.
I mean, he could lead you to the play. Like you guys, the Bills could definitely will be in the playoffs, I think. But to win that big game on his shoulders, I don't think so.
Yeah, the Jets will probably be improved too. I mean, Sam Bradford will probably take a step up. They got another offensive lineman for so hopefully they can get that running game going with Le'Veon Bell.
Receivers, who are the receivers?
Yeah, they didn't take receivers.
The funniest family video was with Jets coach Adam Gase and his family. Oh, he couldn't have been more disgusted to be with his kids. There's 3 of them jumping on the couch, and he's just like going like this with his face, and like he's giving those crazy eyes looking at the laptop. Didn't smile once.
Do you remember when Stephen A. Smith had that rant? He's like, he was high. He at the signing.
I mean, think of it. Adam Gase, like if Ryan Tannehill is so bad, he was like, right? He went to Miami. The year before, Ryan Tannehill had a pretty good year, and then he went there, and Ryan Tannehill sucked. Then he went to the Jets, and Sam Darnold has not met up to his expectations yet. And Ryan Tannehill went to the Titans and did pretty good. So was it Adam Gase? Because you can't give Adam Gase credit for being the Broncos' offensive coordinator. Peyton Manning was the offensive coordinator. It wasn't Adam Gase.
Yeah, and now they want to say that Adam Gase is this like offensive guru. All I've seen him do is destroy teams, not like galvanize them.
Terrible coach. Horrendous.
And he's already coached half the AFC East.
Him and Rex Ryan just go from team to team.
Adam Gase can't have a career much longer than that. They've probably got to give him this last year obligatory, like, give him this year, and then
Like for
when
what
he starts sucking.
For what Rex Ryan was, like for the Jets, he was their best coach, and I don't even know how long.
Oh, I know. They should have never gotten rid of him. He was like, he could win games with them.
The problem wasn't him. The fact that they drafted Mark Sanchez 5th overall.
They played under him too. Like, that was a team that played for Rex Ryan.
Exactly.
Like, they would have some years where they would start out terrible, but they'd still finish like somewhat decent because they wouldn't just give it up.
They had Tomlinson as their backup running back.
Yeah.
And he was
when they signed him, he was still good at the end.
Yes. And they had Santonio Holmes. Like, that team was freaking good.
Yeah.
And then the owner got in the way and fired Rex Ryan. And then
Mike Tannenbaum. Oh, he's awful.
But then they had the coach, the African American coach, like never spoke.
Oh yeah.
Like the Cardinals defensive coordinator or something. I think he's the Buccaneers defensive coordinator now. He won't be doing too much.
Well, he'll be taking orders from Tom Brady now. Then
he won't be. He won't be drinking beers in the parking lot with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a fun guy.
Oh crap! I forget what that guy's name was, but I remember him.
He was awful.
They were like okay for the first year. Like every Jets coach is like okay, like a half year in, and then they just like suck.
If you're the Jets with the 10th pick, I would have taken one of those receivers.
I know, especially didn't they lose Robbie Anderson?
Yeah, you can get an elite lineman next year, but elite receivers don't come around that often. Like I would have taken Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb and drafted a line and traded up. Like you have so many picks, trade up in the second round and get a lineman.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, there's no excuse for some of these teams that have just not taking any playmakers to give to their quarterbacks. You got to give Sam Bradford some playmakers, and it's year 3 now. So
he doesn't have that it factor for me.
He's still just so young. He's got good size. I don't know. I think
like you have to have that it factor, like that. You put everything on my shoulders, and I'm going to carry there. Like Josh Allen has already done that, and I don't even think And I think Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Josh Allen, but Josh Allen's already accomplished that.
I think he had a better rookie year than he should. Like he had no weapons around, and he had like a somewhat decent rookie year. Then he gets mono last year, and that totally screwed his year. I mean, we can all make jokes about it, but it screwed his year. I feel like he hasn't really had a chance to. This is like kind of his first year with a chance, but
I mean, how about
they don't even have the personnel around him at this point. So it's just it's going to be tough to evaluate him.
Don't give Le'Veon Bell $50 million. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Or you better throw it to him 105 times a year.
Yeah, but like the defense knows it's going to him because there's no one else on the team to throw it to.
Yeah. Well, maybe that guy that is 380 pounds will be able to knock a couple holes open for Le'Veon.
You just look around the league and you look at so many of these franchises and how many years have the Jets had a top 10 pick? It's been like 4 years now.
I know they always have a top pick.
Like the Chargers had the sixth pick this year, but they haven't had a top 10 pick in years. Panthers usually aren't in the top 10. Cardinals usually are. Jaguars are. Browns always are. Dolphins always are. Bengals always are. And it's like, figure it out. Stop drafting terrible players in the top 10.
Or like redundant players too. Like, I don't know. Or just taking a quarterback to take one.
Take the best player available. Don't take it like for a need if you're in the top 10.
Pats didn't. I mean, they should have taken a tight end or something at some point, but they didn't.
The Cardinals, they took the linebacker out of Clemson. But he's the best player available. You take him.
Yep.
Everyone thought they were going to take like a cornerback or something.
The Cardinals are going to be so good.
I know they are.
They have Kyler Murray, then all these guys. Did they get another receiver?
But they have DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if
They
they
also have
drafted one too.
Christian Kirk, I think. Isn't he on that team?
I
They
think
drafted him
so.
like 2 years ago. Larry Fitzgerald's still there. And then that Kenyon Drake was good when he went there last year.
Yeah. It's too bad they did that terrible trade. Oh my God. What a
Trade.
no, I'm joking. That trade, it's too bad the Texans.
Yeah, it's too bad they traded David Johnson.
David Johnson for the best, an all-pro receiver. It's like, I get it if the guy doesn't want to resign, but just let things go to the mat. Like, keep the guy instead of trading him for pennies.
So
Keep the
there was
guy
a
as
video.
long as you can.
There was a video. They went to Bill O'Brien during the draft, and he something happened to his computer, and he's throwing his hands up in the air. How is that guy a general manager? Like, if you're the owner of that team, how did you let this happen?
That was probably better for the team when his computer froze. They probably made a better selection than he would have made.
Dude, they tried to get our GM last year, and Belichick.
Oh, Caserio.
So how do you do that, and then you let the guy that you almost fired become the GM and the coach?
I have no idea. And this is like the guy who's the king of the 9-7 season, too. It's not like he's lighting the world on fire.
It's not like your division is ever good. The AFC South has been a joke since Andrew Luck.
And you have Deshaun Watson.
Exactly. Oh God, these teams, it makes me so pissed off because it's every year everyone looks at the Pats and they take their own draft picks. They do this, they do that. Is a lot of it Tom Brady? Probably. But a lot of it is Belichick picking players and coaching them up and making them better. None of these other coaches do that.
It's just, why does he do that, though? Like, why does he kick himself in the balls and take guys that are lower instead of using guys that are top talent? He's got to spend 3/4 of the year coaching these guys up instead of just taking that superior talent.
I agree with you. The one thing that Belichick looks for that other coaches don't, he doesn't just look for talent. He looks for
aptitude.
Exactly. What is the person like? What have they dealt with in their life to get to where they are? Because a lot of these talented players fizzle out because they don't have the passion, the motivation, they don't have the killer instinct, and that's what Belichick looked for. That safety is a D2 player and has had to work for everything in his life.
He's a grinder. He added 50 pounds to his frame and wasn't on anyone's board. And
that's why I was so shocked when we took Sony Michel. It's come on. The guy doesn't have any expression on his face. Doesn't look like he's even enjoying himself. At least Harry, when he makes a play, he's pumped up. It doesn't happen often because he's hurt. But I do think he has that killer instinct. I really think he's going to take a big jump this year.
I think he will too. I think it's going to help him that it's not playing with Brady anymore and he's playing with someone that's going to be more likely to understand that he needs to get him in the fold. And God, he's going to be a great red zone option. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. He can
be our number one red zone option.
Yeah.
Well, one of those tight ends, Mohamed Sanu is not going to catch it.
Mohamed Sanu may not even play. He's on a hurt ankle. I mean, he's so old. I mean, can they cut him? Can they get anything if they cut him?
No, I think it just goes to the cap.
Recoup any money?
No.
What an awful way to squander a second-round pick.
How was he worth a second-round pick? He was the third best receiver on his team. The third.
People wouldn't even give up a second-round pick for Garoppolo. That. There was a debate over that. And you toss a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu. He's the fourth best receiver on the Falcons at the point.
Everyone's oh, it's because he has an extra year of his contract. I don't want him for an extra year.
I know. They're oh, he's worth a second rounder because he has one more year. I'll sign some scrub.
Emmanuel Sanders went for a third. He's an actual football player.
Yeah, he's actually going to make an impact on a team.
It's because he so knew went to fucking Rutgers. Had to get him.
I just think it's funny they're trying to get value from him so bad. They're screw it. Can he return punts? had he even been a punt returner prior to that? I don't think he was, and he's not exceptionally fast.
Okay, last year I forgot about this. He just went out there to fair catch everyone. He never returned a single one. Even when there was no one around him, he just went out there to catch the ball.
They're like reps.
They're like we trust you to catch it, but we don't trust you to run. Second round pick.
Mm. And he's old too. What is he, 30 or 31? Like,
it's sad because honestly, if we had another outside receiver and you had Edelman in the slot this year, this could actually be a pretty good offense. If you had Harry on the outside with another physical, like good receiver, this offense is good.
Why do they take 2 tight ends instead of another wide receiver? I mean, I thought it was a glaring need that they needed one more wide receiver. It didn't matter where they got him, but I figured they'd take another one.
Because
I didn't think they'd double down and take one in the first, but at least take one.
Young quarterbacks, like a tight end's a safety net.
Yeah.
They're both athletic tight ends. They both can block. I mean, that was the best thing that they did the whole draft, I thought, was getting 2.
Was getting 2 tight ends? Yeah.
Because you're going to, if you do 2 tight end sets, you can have one, especially in play action, you can have one be blocking and one out like in the seam catching pass. And I don't trust Ryan Izzo or Matt Lacoste to do anything.
Yeah. Asasi, that guy that they took the first one, 6'3", 260, runs a 4.73, and they also say that he's an inline blocker too, and could be like a special teamer. So it seems like they got a lot of guys that are like Swiss Army knives. Like
260 runs a 4.7. That's pretty fucking good.
I know.
260.
Yeah,
he's got good hands too. Some of his catches.
He only played 1 year as a tight end, though. They said.
Something. I don't know what happened to him.
But I mean, I'll take that. I always judge guys off their last year, their most recent year, anyway. Like we never judge guys off. Wow, they had an amazing junior year.
That's why I was so shocked that Justin Herbert went 6th. His junior year was good. His senior year was terrible.
I know.
I'm sorry, but like a quarterback from Oregon is not going to lead you. Like if you look at all the players the Pats drafted the past couple of years, bunch of guys from Michigan, always drafted from Alabama, drafts from colleges that like they go through tough programs. You can't tell me that Justin Herbert at fucking Oregon ever went through any hard times trying to win a game against these Pac-12 teams, playing against Arizona and Arizona State. I'd like to see him play an SEC team, see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like Jarrett Stidham came from the SEC.
Yeah, they say that this tight end, they're pretty bullish on this tight end from UCLA. They say he's got great yak with great size. They say he'll definitely separate at the next level and as a blocker. They're like exactly the type of player the Pats have kind of gone for during the Belichick era. So it seems like there's a couple good picks that they made with the.
He honestly reminds me of like a younger Ben Watson. Watching his like highlight tapes. I mean, back then, tight ends didn't do what Ben Watson did.
I know Ben Watson was like one of the first of like those kind. I remember being like, he's so athletic.
Yeah,
he ran like a 4, something ridiculous, 40.
Like the Saints took that kid Trotman that we were talking about, the big tight end from like Florida International or some college. He went in like the 4th round, the Saints. And when he got picked, all the guys said, well, he can't block. He can catch. And that's pretty much it. And like if you look at all the mock drafts, everyone's like, Trotman's the guy to get. Trotman's the guy to get. We all know Belichick's not going to take a tight end that can't block.
Yeah. Yeah, and then a lot of people didn't like the Pats taking that tight end from Virginia Tech. They just said, you know, weird for the Pats to go back to back with pretty much the same player, but apparently he is the same type of player, I guess. Athletic, H-back type of guy. They say they can put all over the field, fun after the catch, and also give some blocking production. So they got two guys that are going to block and get decent yak, which is
think back to when Hernandez and Gronk were on the team, the offensive schemes they would like put out there.
Yeah.
As a defense, that's hard to like scheme against.
When you have two tight ends that can block and get good yak, you've got
slower line. You have linebackers trying to cover these guys, not safeties, linebackers, because you spread everybody out, and it's gonna open up the field for like these short in and outs to like Edelman and Harry and
James White.
James White, exactly.
Yeah,
I thought it was good. I just I like the kid from Michigan that we took though, the outside linebacker.
Why did he fall so far? Or where did he end?
He went in the second round.
Oh, he went in the second round. Okay.
He traded up to get him.
I didn't hear much about him. He was another guy that was. So he got a pretty good grade. He's like an edge guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah, him and the Alabama guy are both edge guys. So right then, there you put Hightower out there. You put those two guys out there. We have Chase Winovich from last year, I think will be pretty good. I just don't know who's even on our defensive line. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. So this guy, this DN from Michigan, they seem to like him a bit too. Although they say he fits a profile of like Teddy Bruschi.
That's not true. He looks like a Roosevelt Colvin.
It said he's 6'1", 245. Gets to the quarterback with hard to miss athleticism.
Watch videos of him and then watch Teddy Bruschi. Teddy Bruschi runs in quicksand compared to this guy.
Yeah.
Teddy Bruschi was a middle linebacker. This guy's an outside linebacker. He's okay. I think he'll be good. Overall,
what do you think of them being the first team to take a kicker?
Not surprised. Just the kicker they took. This kicker has a freaking nose ring. Apparently, he has like a tattoo somewhere, like on his body, that like supports the army or something. And he said he's going to take it off because he doesn't support it or something. I didn't really look into it, but people around here are pissed that they took him because he's like this guy that has like not an attitude, but like has these like political beliefs. It's like, who the hell cares? Can he kick a football?
Yeah, they say he's got great experience in challenging conditions. He was 18 of 21 on field goals in his final college season too. And he said this is typically where the Pats invest on their special teamers. They took Matthew Slater here, Zoltan Mesko here, Jake Bailey, and Joe Cardona.
The kicker that everyone wanted was this kicker like out of Georgia State. He's got a big leg. When he got taken, all the analysts said, big leg. His issue is with accuracy. Why the hell would Belichick take a kicker that has issues with accuracy?
I know.
This guy,
especially when people here were ready to fry Gostowski anytime he would miss a kick. That was one of my biggest. I always hated that. Like Gostowski, I think is the third most accurate kicker of all time, or something like that. And when he would miss a kick, people would absolutely fry him around here. I could never understand it.
Well,
it's like you expect them to be perfect.
He did.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he definitely had challenges this year for sure. Like he was missing kicks too.
Once they moved the extra point thing back, he started missing those, and then it got in his head. I'm convinced because there'd be years where he'd have like 20 of 20, like 22 straight field goals made by Gostowski.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. But
I feel like every time he was lining up for a kick, they'd be like, he's 25 of his last 26, or he's 20. Like it was always some type of.
I think he came out of Memphis, like not a big time school. This guy came out of Marshall.
Yeah.
I don't care where the kicker goes to college. He's a kicker.
As long as they're accurate. That's all I
Name me a
want.
kicker that came out of Alabama or Georgia or one of these colleges that like win national championships.
They're always from weird places.
Yeah, do you think
Or
that
they
those?
like go around to like other leagues and
You
end
think
up in
those?
the NFL somehow.
You think Nick Saban's going to meet a kicker to recruit him to come to college? They probably have an open tryout for kickers every year.
Yeah.
Like it's a kicker. So this guy can kick. He there was videos of him making like a game-winning field goal for like 53 yards this year. Like he can
You
kick
have a
on
good point. You never see the good kickers like during the college season. They're
even
always from these random. They're never from a top program. It's
where did
never like
Justin,
Texas.
I bet Justin Tucker went to like Connecticut. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where like Vinatieri, where'd he go? I have no idea.
Yep.
Kickers come and go. But Belichick's kickers usually stick around for a long time.
Yeah, they stay for 15 years or so. Belichick's kickers. Yeah, if this guy is right in line with the norm, I mean, so he'll be like the third all time in points.
Exactly. Probably not because we won't be scoring as many points without Brady, but I don't know. He's a kicker. But I'm glad we took it. We addressed the need we needed. I just think it's hilarious that if you go online now, I'm sure everyone's like, the Patriots didn't take a quarterback.
But they took a kicker.
So exactly. It's like I don't want to judge the Patriots offseason until it's completely over. The offseason's not over. There's still lots of free agent quarterbacks out there.
Oh, I thought you said you judged after the draft. Pushing the goal line out a little?
Well, we don't have a quarterback yet. They did.
What do you think they're going to do if you had to guess? I mean, you don't want Cam, you don't want Jameis, or any of the crap guys. What do you think they'll do for their third quarterback?
It's not that I don't want Cam. I wouldn't mind Cam. I just know Cam wouldn't work here.
Yeah.
And Jameis Winston, Belichick's biggest thing is I want a quarterback that makes right decisions. And Jameis Winston, even dating back to Florida State, has been throwing interceptions and fumbles. There's not chances coming here.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, I don't see it happening, but potentially. I really feel like Jacoby Brissett's going to be the guy that's going to come back.
Jacoby, I like it.
I mean, do I love Jacoby Brissett? No.
But as a good backup or as a guy to test someone at least, I mean,
exactly.
should be good enough. You're not going to spend top dollar for him either. But maybe you might have to actually spend more than you want to on a guy like him. Didn't the Colts give him 2 years, like 15 mil per or something?
Yeah, that was when he was the starter. Now, like if you're telling me Jameis Winston and Cam Newton can't get jobs, you're going to tell me Jacoby Brissett's going to be like
no.
Exactly. Like you can give him a 1 year, $5 million deal and be like, you can compete for a starting job.
Yeah.
Jameis and Cam are going to both ask for at least over 10.
I know. That's why I feel like Cam's going to end up in a decent situation. He's too good to he's got to end up somewhere.
It's not that he's too good. It's the fact that he's Cam Newton. Like,
yeah.
Organizations are on the NFL, and we just talked about quarterback signings and like drafting. They're stupid. And like, if you're the Redskins, you have nothing to lose by signing Cam Newton. He knows Ron Rivera. You have freaking who's the quarterback?
Dwayne Haskins.
He is horrendous. Like
he's awful.
You want to sell tickets? Do you want to like be somewhat competitive? Because I guarantee you, they do. Bring in Cam Newton.
Yeah, and maybe Haskins can learn for a couple of years or something at least.
Like give him a 2-year, $25 million deal.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, I honestly don't know if he'll be playing football this year.
He'll get signed somewhere. Maybe he'll be a backup on Pittsburgh or something. Like there's got to be some team. Like I don't know, just teams would.
And going into last year, you're thinking you're getting $100 million contract at the end of the year.
Oh.
Now you're looking at maybe $5 million.
You're begging for it. Yeah.
Like
that's a big value loss.
Is that like the Jaguars won't even bring in Jameis Winston?
Belichick's dog is making more than Jameis Winston this year.
Belichick's dog probably owns the entire house.
Runs the compound.
That freaking dog is like this big.
That dog is like more respected than anything.
Gives more respect to the dog than he does Brady.
Or Linda.
Oh yeah, Linda doesn't get much. He just says, "Take the credit card and leave. I need to look at prospects for the 2030 draft."
All right. Well, that's gonna conclude it for us here. Our draft breakdown. So appreciate anyone who tuned in, and we'll catch you Tuesday.